Picture a fortress. Stone walls, high enough that nothing can climb them. No gate that opens from outside. The only door is on the inner wall, and it only opens from within. Now picture that fortress isn't a place. It's a faculty, a part of your own mind, walled off in a way nothing external. No insult, no loss, no diagnosis, no betrayal can ever physically breach. The only way anything gets in is if you personally walk to that inner door and open it yourself. That's not a metaphor I'm inventing for this video. It comes almost directly from Marcus Aurelius, and it's precise enough that a modern scholar built an entire book around it, using nearly those exact words as the title. Today we're going inside that fortress, what it actually is, how it works, and how you build one of your own. In 1992, a historian of ancient philosophy named Pierre Hadot published a study of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations that changed how serious scholars read the text. He called it the inner citadel. He didn't pick that phrase to sound poetic. He picked it because it's the single image that, once you see it, organizes the entire Meditations, a text that otherwise reads like a scattered private notebook written by an emperor jotting reminders to himself between wars, plagues, and political crises. Hadot's argument is that underneath the apparent scatter, Marcus keeps returning over and over to one core idea, that the soul's guiding faculty is an inviolable stronghold of freedom, untouchable by anything outside it. Inviolable is the key word, not hard to disturb, not resistant to disturbance if you're skilled enough. Actually inviolable, structurally, permanently off limits to outside forces, the way a locked room is off limits to rain, regardless of how hard the storm outside is blowing. That's a much stronger claim than most self-help versions of resilience make. Resilience usually means bouncing back after being hit. The inner citadel is describing something that was never actually hit in the first place, because the thing doing the getting hit isn't inside the walls at all. So what, precisely, is inside this fortress? The Greek term is hegemonikon, the ruling or guiding faculty of the soul. Think of it as the part of you that doesn't just receive information from the world, but decides what that information means. Here's how the ancient model works, step by step, and it's worth being precise about the sequence. An event happens out in the world. Your senses register it. This part is entirely mechanical, shared with animals, completely outside your control. That raw sensory data then produces something the Stoics called a fantasia, an impression, a mental image of what just happened. And it's at this exact point, and not before, that the hegemonikon does its actual job. It either assents to that impression, adding a judgment on top of it, or it withholds that assent and simply notes the impression as raw information. Hadot's own phrasing of this is worth hearing directly, because it's precise in a way looser summaries aren't. The hegemonikon alone is free, because it alone can give or withhold its assent to the account attached to a given impression. That, he says, is the borderline outside things cannot cross. That borderline, not your skin, not your possessions, not your reputation, is the actual wall of the citadel. Notice what this means practically. The insult can reach your ears. The loss can reach your circumstances. The diagnosis can reach your body. None of those things can reach the hegemonikon directly. They can only arrive there as a raw impression, waiting for your assent, which is the one step nothing external can perform on your behalf. Marcus wasn't writing abstract theory for an audience. He was, quite literally, giving himself instructions, in private, that nobody else was ever meant to read. One of his sharpest reminders to himself works almost like a legal correction, catching himself mid-thought. He tells himself, don't add anything to what the raw impression actually told you. If you've heard that someone has been speaking badly of you behind your back, then that is exactly and only what you've heard. You have not, in fact, been told that you were wronged. That second claim, "I was wronged," isn't in the original impression at all. It's something Marcus's own mind would have to manufacture and then assent to, entirely on its own initiative. Read that twice, because it's doing something subtle. He's not telling himself the gossip didn't happen, or that it doesn't matter at all. He's isolating exactly which part of the reaction was actually delivered from outside, and which part his own mind was about to construct and hand to itself. The Citadel wasn't under attack from the gossip. It was about to open its own gate, voluntarily, to a judgment nobody forced on it. This is the daily maintenance work the whole practice is built on. Catching that moment, again and again, where you're about to hand yourself a conclusion the raw evidence never actually contained. Hadit's reading of the Meditations goes one level deeper than just guard your judgments. He argues Marcus was actually working with three separate disciplines, borrowed from his teacher's teacher, Epictetus, each one guarding a different gate into the Citadel. The discipline of assent is the one we've just walked through, governing what you agree to believe about an impression, keeping objective observation separate from the extra, often false, value judgment riding along with it. The discipline of desire governs a different gate entirely, not what you believe, but what you want and what you're averse to. This is where the dichotomy of control lives most directly. Training your wanting and your avoiding to stay aimed only at what's actually within your power, so that desire itself doesn't become an open door for disturbance whenever the external world doesn't cooperate. The discipline of action governs the outward-facing wall, how you actually behave toward other people, in line with justice and the wider community you're part of, not just your own inner peace and isolation. Put together, these three disciplines are the actual architecture of the fortress, not one wall, but three, each one addressing a different way the outside world tries to get a foothold, through belief, through craving, and through conduct. A citadel with only one strong wall and two weak ones isn't really secure at all, and Hadit's whole argument is that Marcus was training all three simultaneously, every single day, precisely because neglecting any one of them leaves an opening. I want to stop here and correct the most tempting misreading of this entire idea, because it's an easy one to fall into, and it would have horrified Marcus specifically. An inviolable inner fortress can sound like an invitation to withdraw, hold back from the world, stop engaging, protect yourself by simply caring less about everything outside the walls. That is not what this is. Two of the three disciplines we just walked through point directly outward, not inward. The discipline of desire is explicitly about your relationship with the wider natural order you're part of, not isolation from it. The discipline of action is explicitly about justice toward other people, conduct within your community, not retreat from it. Remember who was writing this. Marcus wasn't a hermit protecting his peace from the sidelines. He was actively running an empire, commanding armies on multiple fronts, managing a devastating plague, making decisions that affected millions of people who would never know his name. The Citadel wasn't a place he escaped to, away from those responsibilities. It was the stable ground he stood on while fully carrying them. The walls weren't there to keep the world out. They were there so that the world's chaos couldn't dictate the quality of his own judgment while he engaged with it directly, at full intensity, every single day. This is the real difference between the inner citadel and mere avoidance. Avoidance reduces your exposure to the world. The citadel changes what happens to your judgment when exposure is unavoidable, which, for an emperor at war, it constantly was. So how do you build something like this for yourself, practically, without a lifetime of philosophical training behind you? Here's where the theory becomes usable. Start by isolating the raw impression. The next time something disturbs you, do exactly what Marcus did to himself. Write down or say out loud only the bare fact of what happened, the way a camera would record it, with 0 adjectives. Then separately, notice the judgment your mind immediately wants to staple onto that fact. Seeing the two written side by side, distinctly, is most of the work. Most people never separate them at all. The judgment and the fact arrive so fused together that they feel like a single indivisible experience, when they're actually two separate things, one given and one manufactured. Practice withholding assent, briefly, on purpose. You don't have to permanently deny that a judgment might eventually be correct. Just delay it. Notice the impression and consciously choose not to immediately ratify the extra story attached to it. Often, the gap you create in that pause is enough for the exaggerated version of the judgment to lose some of its grip before you decide whether to actually accept it. Check all 3 gates, not just one. If you only train the discipline of assent, catching your judgments, while leaving your desires attached to things outside your control, or your actions unmoored from justice toward others, you've built one strong wall on a fortress with 2 open sides. The upkeep has to run on all 3 fronts simultaneously, the way Marcus's own private notebook constantly rotates between all 3, rather than fixating on just one. Expect to rebuild the wall daily, not once. Marcus wrote his private reminders continuously, for years, precisely because this isn't a fortress you finish constructing and then leave standing on its own. It requires daily maintenance, forever. If the most powerful man in the Roman world needed constant repetition to keep his own citadel intact, that's not a discouraging fact. It's permission for you to need the same thing. If you take one corrective away from this video, let it be this one. Stoic has become shorthand in casual modern usage for someone who bottles things up. The guy who doesn't cry, doesn't talk about what's bothering him, just clenches his jaw and moves on. That's not the philosophy. That's suppression, and suppression is arguably closer to the problem the Stoics were diagnosing than to their solution. Suppression doesn't touch the underlying judgment at all. It just refuses to display the resulting feeling outwardly, while the miscalibrated belief underneath stays fully intact, usually building pressure rather than resolving anything. The actual Stoic method works one level deeper. Examine the belief that produced the feeling and correct it if it's wrong. Sometimes that process still leaves you with a completely appropriate feeling, grief at a genuine loss, anger at a genuine injustice, and the philosophy has no interest in talking you out of that. It only has an argument with the feelings built on judgments that don't survive close examination. There's a version of you that already has this fortress, whether you've noticed it or not. It's been standing the entire time, through every insult and setback you've ever faced, because nothing has ever actually been able to reach it directly. Only the door you chose, in each of those moments, to open yourself. The work was never building the walls from nothing. They were already there, inviolable, exactly as Marcus described them. The actual work is simply remembering, at the moment something is knocking, that you're still the one holding the only key.